Welcome to Mexico Unexplained, where we will explore the magic, the mysteries, and the miracles of Mexico. This series presents information based partly on theory and conjecture. The podcaster's purpose is to suggest some possible explanation, but not necessarily the only ones to the subjects we will examine. Here is your host, Robert Bitto.
Welcome, and muy bienvenidos to episode number 241 of Mexico Unexplained, where we examine the magic, the mysteries, and the miracles of Mexico. I'm your host, Robert Bitto. The date was April 9th, 2014. On the television show simply called X, broadcast over the Russian television network TV3, the host of the show calmly presented video of an unusual phenomenon that occurred over the skies off the coast of Oaxaca, Mexico. Millions of viewers across the Russian Federation were glued to their television sets as a white spiral spun and grew out of a small illuminated cloud that hung over a ridge of dark mountains. Through a translator, the Russian presenter interviewed Mexican climatologist Ingrid Suarez-Philip about this strange occurrence. Not well known in Mexico when it happened, this bizarre atmospheric vortex was one of many that appeared all over the world in the 2010s, starting with the famous Norway spiral of December 9, 2009. The video from Mexico presented on the Russian television station looked very similar to the mysterious vortex in Norway. At the time when it happened, the official explanation of the Norway spiral was that it was the result of the Russian Defense Ministry conducting tests of their new Bulava ballistic missile. No Russian missile tests were conducted off the Pacific coast of Mexico in 2014, however, so the explanation of the Norway spiral did not fit for what happened that night in Oaxaca. In between the Norway spiral of December 2009 and the Oaxaca spiral of March 2014, there were 5 other such atmospheric phenomena in various parts of the world. Australia, June 5, 2010, New Zealand, March 29, 2011, Mongolia, June 29, 2011, Ukraine, November 18, 2011, and Israel, June 17, 2013. Paranormal researchers are quick to note that the Russian missile explanation cannot be used to explicate similar events occurring throughout the world. Many theorize that the whole spiral phenomenon can be traced to high-energy experiments conducted at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. Others believe that these are wormholes to other dimensions, opened either naturally or by some alien presence. Some further speculate that these brief spiral formations are some sort of communication from an otherworldly intelligence. What happened over Oaxaca in March of 2014 was not well known in Mexico until Mexican paranormal researcher Jaime Maussan of Tercer Milenio fame heard about the Russian television program and decided to investigate. Very little information exists about this Mexican spiral vortex, which leads many to 2 conclusions. Either the story was a fabrication, or the Mexican government and/or military authorities are trying to keep a tight lid on what happened in their airspace. The Mexican climatologist Ingrid Suarez, who spoke publicly on this on the Russian TV station, has not been interviewed since her appearance on that show. Is she under some sort of gag order? Many debunkers are quick to point out the over-the-top exaggerations and outright fabrications made at Russia's TV3, a station that has been criticized in Russia itself for promoting pseudoscience and fake esotericism. If those debunkers would criticize this Russian TV show for its presentation of this Oaxacan vortex, there is little to explain this phenomenon observed in other parts of the world. Investigators of the paranormal in Mexico are inclined to believe that the video shown on Russian TV was of a real event that happened in Oaxaca skies. Those who believe this was real can only guess its meaning or who or what was behind creating it and for what reason. The illuminated cloud spiral over Oaxaca may be unique in Mexico's history, but the idea of vortexes in Mexican skies is not new and may date back thousands of years. Researchers point to concentric circular patterns and spiral designs in ancient rock art and claim that prehistoric artists captured what they saw in the skies above them. At least from the 1930s, vortexes in the sky have been suspected as being the causes for many strange things happening in the area of the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve in the remote deserts of the Mexican state of Chihuahua. Nicknamed the Zone of Silence, the first reports of anomalies and bizarre things happening in this area became public with the exploits of the famous Mexican aviation pioneer Francisco Sarabia Tinoco. The pilot claimed that when he flew his plane, nicknamed Conquistador del Cielo, over the area of this part of the desert, his radio would not work and his instruments would go crazy. Magnetic anomalies and electronic equipment malfunctions have been reported from Sarabia's time to the present day across this zone of silence. Some say that the mysterious properties of this region caused a U.S. missile to crash here in July of 1970. The Athena test missile was fired from a U.S. military base near Green River, Utah, with its ultimate destination being White Sands Missile Range in southern New Mexico. The missile never made it to White Sands, but went hundreds of miles off course and impacted the Earth in the Zone of Silence, a few miles from where the Biosphere Reserve's research station now stands. According to the locals, the strange magnetic anomalies and atmospheric conditions of the zona cause vortexes to be formed that stretch up through the upper atmosphere and out into space, thus drawing in everything from missiles to meteors to extraterrestrial craft. A year before the American missile mishap, what was later known as the Allende meteorite crashed into an area near the zone. For years, locals have claimed that the zone causes pretty much anything to fall from the sky, and cite the many examples of meteorites found on the desert floor throughout the region. For more information about the Zone of Silence, please see Mexico Unexplained episode number 54. Starting in the year 2012, strange magnetic vortexes have been detected over Mexico via weather radar. From October 27th to October 29th, 2012, a gigantic spiral pattern appeared on radar systems stretching from coast to coast and centered on the Mexico City area. This huge anomaly was in the shape of a perfect circle and moved with precision. It was so large and so unusual that even NOAA weather radar out of the United States picked it up. The spiral pattern was beautiful and contained elements of sacred geometry in it. When these strange radar patterns became public, UFO researchers were quick to point out that just a few days before this massive swirling energy pattern began appearing on the radars, a 1,500-foot-long cylindrical UFO was filmed entering the mouth of the active volcano Popocatépetl, the looming mountain just outside of Mexico City. The UFO and spiral energy connection happened 2 other times in the same location. On October 16, 2015, weather radar detected the same round, spinning energy pattern it had picked up 3 years earlier. A few days before this event, Mexican television network Televisa filmed a small UFO entering the Popocatépetl volcano. A few months after that, a Webcams de Mexico camera captured a 45-second video clip of a cylindrical UFO flying into the volcano in the early hours of Christmas Day. Just as with the other 2 times, a few days later on December 28th, the perfectly circular energy vortex again appeared on weather radar, radiating outward from Mexico City and stretching from coast to coast. The patterns fluctuated, but it kept to its form of a perfect circle for a full 2.5 hours. On December 31st of 2015, the beautiful rotating energy circle appeared for its last time for just 31 minutes. Since that last day of 2015, there have been no reported similar radar patterns or any other magnetic or electrical vortexes or spirals connected with UFO activity in Mexico. Mexican researcher Fernando Correa has spent much time studying the circular magnetic phenomena as seen on the various radar systems. As these appeared on several different radars at the same time, the phenomena cannot be dismissed as the products of mechanical glitches or mere human misinterpretations. Correa noted that the patterns of these anomalies look very similar to a Flanagan sensor. Flanagan sensors were created in the 1970s by American New Age inventor and author Patrick Flanagan, the original proponent of pyramid power. A Flanagan sensor is usually worn in pendant form, and the wearer is supposed to gain balanced energy, increased vitality, and an overall sense of well-being. The original Flanagan sensor pendants used a 2D toroidal pattern, which supposedly creates a positive vortex energy. They were also designed around golden ratio or phi proportions, and these pendants allegedly create the same energy as a 2-meter tall pyramid shape. Mexican paranormal researcher Fernando Correa theorizes that perhaps these energy vortexes picked up on the radar equipment spanning Mexico from coast to coast were acting like Flanagan sensors and were created to cleanse Mexico. Perhaps they were somehow helping human minds throughout the country to achieve a higher level of consciousness. Others believe that the UFOs spotted at Popocatépetl a day or two before the magnetic anomalies appeared were using the immense energy of the volcano in some way, and the byproducts were the magnetic patterns seen on the radar. Mysterious spirals and vortexes have long been seen in the skies of Mexico, but have only come to the attention of the general public in the past few decades. As of this recording, what they mean and who or what is making them is anyone's guess. For now, the phenomenon is a complete and utter mystery. Thank you once again for listening to another episode of Mexico Unexplained. Remember to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. Tell your friends by sharing these shows with others. Please go to our website, MexicoUnexplained.com, for references, illustrations, and for free access to transcripts of past shows. Please visit Amazon.com to purchase the books Mexico Unexplained and Mexican Monsters to get hard copies of the magic, the mysteries, and the miracles of Mexico. We appreciate your kind attention once again. Until next time, thank you and gracias.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Mexico Unexplained with host Robert Bitto. For show summary, relevant links and commentary, please check out our website at mexicounexplained.com. Like us on Facebook and be a part of the conversation. Adios and hasta la vista.